Hey guys, what's going on? Mike the Caveman Kuhn here again from Paleo Prime Long Island at MikeTheCaveman.com. And today, this question again is mostly just for the ladies, although guys, you may want to take notes for any significant other you have in your life there. So today's question is, what can we do about PMS and menstrual cramps? Now, this is a fun one. This one does dive pretty deep though, so bear with me. First thing you want to focus on though is your micronutrient sufficiency. I always talk about the importance of getting an adequate micronutrients, and when it comes to period cramping, your electrolyte balance is one of the key factors. You're going to want to make sure you're getting enough of those electrolytes, magnesium, potassium, sodium, and calcium. Particularly magnesium, as it deals with the excitation and relaxation of muscles. So the muscle lining in your uterus, it's going to need adequate magnesium. So that's step one. Next things you want to focus on, vitamin E, super important during menstrual cramps, and getting enough can help with their reduction. The next thing, hormone dysregulation. That is number one. When it comes to menstrual related disorders, particularly PMS and menstrual cramping, well, what we're looking at generally is two factors. You have low progesterone and you have estrogen dominance. Those two are interrelated. Now, time to go into a little bit of steroid biochemistry work. Please don't fall asleep right now. But cholesterol starts this whole process. Cholesterol is the building block for all of your sex hormones. That's why I say do not fear your cholesterol. If you do not take in adequate amounts, you will not be able to produce those sex hormones. Well, that progesterone then goes and produces pregnenolone, which is basically the mother hormone. Pregnenolone then goes down the line and it produces progesterone, which then goes down the line and produces DHEA, which goes down the line, produces testosterone, which goes down the line, produces estrogen. That pregnenolone, though, it doesn't just produce the sex hormones and go down that DHEA pathway. It also goes down and produces your corticosteroids, your adrenal hormones, so corticosterone, aldosterone for the kidneys, as well as cortisol, so your stress hormone. So if you are chronically stressed, if you're not getting in enough sleep, you're going to be producing more cortisol, and that pregnenolone is going to be stolen. It's going to be diverted towards that production of cortisol. So if you are chronically stressed, be it through psycho-emotional stress or lack of sleep or gut problems, gut dysbiosis, inflammation, any of those, you're going to see increases in cortisol, which is going to decrease your pregnenolone and decrease the available amount to produce progesterone. Now, this is a major factor in our HPA axis, the hypothalamus, the pituitary, and the adrenals. So you're having an overproduction in the adrenals towards cortisol. Now, that leads us to our next point, which is gut dysfunction. So a dysregulated gut, be it through intestinal parasites or fungus or just gut dysbiosis, bacterial dysbiosis. What's going to happen? Well, you're going to see an increase in inflammation, which is going to inflame the hypothalamus and the pituitary. That, in turn, is going to decrease their ability to release the proper hormones, and it's going to lead to their dysregulation. Those bacteria can also produce estrogen metabolites, which in turn lead to that estrogen dominance. So even though that DHA pathway is turned down through the low progesterone, the bacteria in your gut, when they are dysbiotic, are able to produce estrogen metabolites, leading to your body reading estrogen as being excessive. So what does that do? Well, estrogen's job is to increase the uterine lining. So if you're estrogen dominant due to that gut dysbiosis, you're going to be producing a thicker lining that now needs to get squeezed through a smaller space. It's going to be more inflamed due to the increased production of prostaglandins, and it's going to last longer too. Dealing with your hormonal regulation is super important. The next factor that leads to that hormonal dysregulation is blood sugar regulation. Frequent sugar consumption is going to lead to chronically elevated insulin levels, which in turn is going to cause chronically elevated cortisol, which brings us back into that same cycle. See where we're starting to go here? Another one is your liver. Your liver deals in detoxifying different compounds, and that includes the various hormones. If your liver is overburdened, it's not going to be able to properly detoxify those hormones. Things that can cause that? Well, different toxins, including phytoestrogens and xenoestrogens, so plant and chemical-based estrogens, can now take those receptor sites and they can cause your liver to not be able to properly eliminate that. One more thing is just going back to that first one, is that inflammation in general. So if you are in a chronically inflamed state, that's going to cause stress, it's going to throw off your hormones, it's going to lead to insulin imbalance, it's going to lead to dysregulated immune system, it's going to lead to the liver being dysfunctional problems. So what do we do? First step. Step one, make sure you're getting in adequate nutrients. Eat real foods. Also supplement with a quality multivitamin such as nutrients, and consider additional magnesium. Where you can do that, you can get into an Epsom salt bath, and that will get in through the skin. It'll get in transdermally. Next thing, focus on eliminating inflammatory foods, okay? That includes your grains, your legumes, that includes high omega-6, which again are seed oils, those grains, legumes, grain-fed animals. So focus on the organic grass-fed animals. Lots of fish, very high in omega-3. It's another one. You might want to consider adding in different herbs and spices like turmeric and ginger. Hormonal balance to get away from that excess cortisol. Maybe look at some adaptogenic herbs like ashwagandha and rhodiola, ginseng. Those are all going to help you out with that. How do you support the liver? Look at different herbs like milk thistle and dandelion root. Focusing on the gut, getting that quality probiotic like megaspore. Get in some fermented foods. Eat some bone broth. Same recommendations as usual. It's not as crazy as you think. Eat the real foods and you'll see some benefits. Get in your sleep. Get in stress management. That is super important in the case of menstrual cramps, PMS, and just general hormonal imbalance. One more thing, exercise. That will help improve insulin sensitivity. It'll improve stress response. It'll increase serotonin release, which will help with the pain of those period cramps. All right, there was a lot of stuff to cover. There's a lot more that I could, but this rain's starting to get heavier. You can hear the thunder in the background there. Hopefully this helped you out, guys. You know what to do. Like and subscribe down below. Share it with your friends. If you want me to cover this a little more when it's nicer out, head on over to Instagram and Twitter. Follow me at Mike the Caveman, over at Facebook at Paleo Primal Long Island, and of course over on MikeTheCaveman.com. That being said, I'll see you tomorrow, guys. Hopefully the weather comes back. I waited a little bit later in the day so I could avoid this, but either way, I'll see you tomorrow.